Hi, I am your host, Henry Klubble, CEO and founder of Orlando Insight Group. Each episode, we dive into real conversations with technology leaders, innovators, and experts who are shaping the future of IT, data, cybersecurity, and leadership. Our goal is simple to give you practical insights to real world strategies, expert perspective that you can use to drive smarter decisions and stronger results for your business. Thank you for joining us today. And we have a special guest, Ivonne Kinser, who's a marketing strategist, entrepreneur, and chief marketing officer at McCraw Law Group, a mid-sized law firm in Texas. She's also a founder of Vantage Creative Group, where she works with companies to build brands that are clear, relevant, and strategically sound. She co-founded Brand Me to help companies leverage the personal brands of their executives to drive message, credibility, and cultural impact. Her career sits at intersections of marketing, technology, creativity, and philosophy. Yvonne is known for her direct style, strong point of view, and ability to turn complex ideas into clear action strategy. She's also a content creator with 200K followers across Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Her social content focuses on creativity, critical thinking, neuroscience, and this surprised me, philosophy. So it was part of the platform that began with the publication of her book Think, which started as a personal passion project and has grown into multi-platform movement focused on helping people think more deeply and more critically at a time where information is cheap, fast, and fully democratized. So through her work, Yvonne challenges people and brands to slow down, question more, and lead with intention. Welcome, Yvonne. How are you today?
I'm great, and thank you for that great delivery of a bio. Thank you so much. And thank you for the invite.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I was surprised reading that you also dive deep into philosophy. Maybe we can talk about it later. I guess we get started with a couple questions. You said that most brands' problems are thinking problems, but what does bad thinking look like inside organizations today?
Yeah, so in order to understand bad thinking, we need to understand good thinking. And good thinking is in its foundation challenging assumptions. So
Mm,
even what we believed be truth and what we have always believed to be truth can change because change is the only constant in the world. So the first thing that we need to do, the teams, the leaders, is to push everyone in an organization to question everything that they believe to be truth. How many of us have been in these meetings, organizations, interviews where we heard that's not the way we do it here, or
mm,
that's not the way we have done it, or that's not the way we execute this or that. And there's nothing that kills performance more than that attitude and that approach. So in
yeah.
order to think right, we need to start, maybe we get to the same conclusion, but we need to go through the process, and that's good thinking.
Yeah, and especially with I think that has accelerated not only the current status quo, but at the same time, we are importing our thinking to a machine now. Um, Now, with the current times, what do you think? Is it harming organizations or is it improving focus in that area?
I love that question because it completely changed what value means for an organization.
Mm,
Before, the talent were valued by the knowledge they bring. But right now, knowledge is democratized and cheap. It
mm,
costs max $20 per month in technically. So everyone has access to the same knowledge. So that makes that now the most valuable talent is not that one who has the knowledge because everybody has it, but the one that think um, critically and is able to differentiate what is a, I mean, all of us had experiments with ChatGPT.
Mm.
or any other one, ChatGPT, because it's the one that everybody has top of mind. But any generative AI where it say things that makes no sense, honestly, and the things that may tell to one person may not be value for another person within a different context. So that discernment is now much more valuable than the knowledge itself. So those to answer your question now, those organizations that are going to really thrive is those that can attract and retain
Mm.
talent that is willing to push back to the established norms within that group of organization, those questions the traditional truth, and those that can challenge any preconceived notions, and those are actually can challenge what artificial intelligence will tell us.
Yeah, definitely. And AI, especially if given to the person, they will definitely use it, and they will definitely outsource their knowledge. So we as humans, really, if you give us a tool, we'll be lazy. So it makes
Totally.
sense to have that structure, have that organization, have these standards. So it makes sense.
Let me tell you something. It's so funny because last night I was using ChatGPT. I asked a question to ChatGPT, and then he gave me these Polish questions that are so BS. And then I say, that's BS. Because you have to challenge, and then the response was, "Yeah, you're right. Good caught. Good for you to catch that up. Now this is the non BS version." So if you're not really in control of the outcome that you want to get from the AI, you start getting so much BS that at the end, it goes against everything that you're trying to do in an organization, which is pretty much growth in different areas.
Mhm. And what insights can you offer for our business and data community, since the pace of information and the way we do work is fast? How can we slow down and be able to, look from the signal from the noise? What are your strategies and recommendations you can provide to help us focus on what it really matters?
Yeah, that's a great question because we before almost like worship speed, and I can take pride myself that I'm very fast, but then I there's something that I understood, that is that the speed just reinforce the thinking that you have before you start speeding,
Mm.
and that thinking can be good or bad. So yes, speed is good, and it helps things move forward faster, but before you start you need to take that like enough time to really clear your mind, especially into what do you want the outcome to be, what is the preconceived notions that you don't want to contaminate the process or the outcome, the bias. So there's so many things that you can do before you even start to speed up things
Mm.
that will, I will say, bulletproof whatever is that you're trying to accomplish, against bias or even failure.
Uh, yeah, I've never met a person, smart person who sped read like Immanuel Kant's critical thinking, or very complex nonfiction books from people in our current times. So it makes sense that you have to take the time. You have to look at your readings, take notes, and be able to absorb the ideas. Yeah, I don't believe this notion of being able to go through something fast and be efficient or valuable or critical at the same time. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. You
Um,
say like Mark Zuckerberg said, has a quote that I absolutely love, again because I love speed myself, but I says move fast and break things. And that I totally agree with that. At some point, once you start, you cannot freeze because then you lose momentum. You have to move fast and iterate. There's a difference between slowing down once you are in the process and start fast before you have clarity. And that's a very important difference.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Uh, Yvonne, let's move on to, I guess, your background in. I know that you worked in branding. You have your own company, as well as advertising. So, so what stays true about strategy, whether you're working with global brands, startups, or law firm? What is the main focus when you're working in that field?
It's strategy. And let me rewind, like, to your point. I have worked for large organizations, tens of thousands people organizations like American Airlines, for example. I have worked for startups, technology startups, Avocado from Mexico for a decade, now in Macrolo Group. So any size of organization, one thing that I can tell you is that a good strategy, the fundamentals of a good strategy are shared regardless of the size of the organization. And
Mm,
if I have to summarize it in one word, I will say that is focus and
mm,
discipline to stay on the things that matter and just lower the volume of the noise and eliminating distractions. The context changes because there's different the context of American Airlines and Avocado from Mexico than Macrolo Group, completely different. But the fundamentals of what is strategy, understand what is necessary and what is noise, that should stay in order to have a solid strategy.
got it, got it. And I know you transitioned to a law group. How does that, I guess, different industry, different, more regulated, differs from your past experience in a typical selling market commercial products to a law firm? How those initiatives change for you?
Yeah, that's a great, it's a great story. At least I think it's a great story. After I spent over 25 years in corporate America in the US,
Mm,
I building brands, mostly the brands that I'm naming: Hager Clothing, Alcar from Mexico, American Airlines. On the agency side as well, building brands.
mm,
It was more focused on brand building.
mm,
And then I moved away from corporate America to start my own projects. I wouldn't say it was one business because I'm multidimensional. The same way that you're working for corporate America and you manage multiple projects at the same time,
mm,
I I got to know myself enough to know that that is what fulfills me, is to have multiple challenges and just meet all the goals across my challenges. So I created for me a professional life that may not make a lot of sense for other people, but is like perfect for me, which
mm,
is I became a serial entrepreneur. I started Vantage Creative Group. It's an agency, a marketing agency. We have multiple clients. I created Brand Me that leverages the brand of the executives to strengthen their commercial brands. I have partners. I have operation partners that manages those operations. And when I was settled and comfortable, which is something that I'm uncomfortable being comfortable. I need
yeah.
that challenge. When I was settled, then my former HR head at Avocado from Mexico, who is now in Macrolo Group, reached out to me to invite me because they were looking for a disruptive CMO. I,
Mm,
I I have never worked in the law industry before in marketing, but I have this. preconceived notion that they are very non-disruptive, to call it that way. So that was the first thing that surprised me, is a law firm looking for a disruptive CMO. And then
Mhm.
he explained to me, yes, they want to do things different. They want to do what nobody else in the industry are doing. They specifically asked me for a non-traditional CMO, and I immediately thought about you. That itself was really attracted to me. And then when I talked to them and I really see that, okay, that's legit, that's exactly what they are looking for. So we were really a perfect fit. Then I explained to them, this is who I am. I can definitely do this. I'm excited. I love it. I also have other companies that I need to not necessarily be directly involved all the time, but I have them, and I'm not going to close them. They are going to continue operating through my partners. And again, they are non-traditional. As long as I bring results, I committed to some portion of my time to be 100% focused on that. But now going back to your question, what I found that there is that it is fascinating because it's very, very performance driven. Something that it have not been my focus before, at least not 100% of my focus. So it's an area of marketing that once you learn how to think about marketing, you can solve any problem. But that problem I have never had to solve as much as this time. And it's, I love a challenge. I'm very competitive, so it gives me a lot of, the um, adrenaline to pursuing these ambitious goals, and I just find performance marketing fascinating. And yeah, we're succeeding so far. I have been there for 6 months, and so far everything is going great. I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's very rare to find that opportunity that gives you the flexibility to continue to be an entrepreneur and at the same time in an industry that is very, from what I experienced, straight, professional, and straight. So I'm glad that you're able to succeed in that realm. Um,
Well, one more thing that I want to tell you is like now that we stabilized the performance side of the business and it's going great, we started already last week to start planning a brand campaign that is going to be like nothing the law industry has seen. The
wow.
creatives are like top-notch creative. We're going to, say who they are later on, but that have worked in very successful campaigns in retail and CPG. So that is very intentional, bringing that thinking to disrupt the industry, really break down the and disrupt the playbook basically,
Very well.
break down all the pieces and put them together again in a completely different way. So that's now that's an exciting phase of the brand.
Oh, you hear it, folks. Exclusive. Yvonne is going to release a new campaign. Do we have a release date, or would any social media channels be able to see this campaign anytime soon?
Absolutely. Remember, I come from building campaigns for avocado from Mexico. So that's in my DNA because there's neuroplasticity. So my brain was shaped around that type of thinking for 10 years. And that's exactly what they wanted from me, someone that was coming, which is a different perspective, and all that thinking and way of seeing marketing. I'm bringing that with me, and the organization, the leadership is really embracing that. So we were working on that. To answer your question, is going to be launched by summer this year. is and we cannot wait to see what comes out of this. But it's definitely going to be something that no industry hasn't seen before.
Awesome. Yeah, our group will be monitoring and promoting once it's released, and yeah, we look forward to that, Yvonne. Thank you for sharing this exclusive bit.
Thank you. Thank you
Uh,
for giving me the space to share this.
yeah, definitely. And I noticed that you uh, been to CES 12 times. So for this year, when you attended CES, what, I guess, speaking with vendors, speaking with people, what is the overall theme that you discovered this year that would outline for 2026 uh, for companies and technology?
Yeah, to understand, before I answer that question, let's go back to why people go to CES and how every single individual navigates CES differently. Like
Mm,
you mentioned, going to meetings and talking to vendors, some goes to network, some goes to understand what is going on in the industry. So it's these different ways to navigate it. Now we're talking about millions of square feet. It's impossible to see even, I would say, even 20% of it. It's impossible. I made that mistake the first time. I wanted to see it all. And when I left the show and I thought about it, I realized I saw nothing. I know nothing. I have no idea what was going on there. I was
yeah.
just like for 3 days walking around, getting distracted. And then I realized that CES is not a show to really deeply understand every area, unless you're in a specific area like automotive, and then you focus on that. But if you're in marketing overall, like is my case, you just have to be prepared to let the signals get into your brain. Let
Mhm.
me explain this. Like AI, right? You have a lot of information really fast, and then let the brain, whether it's the brain of the artificial intelligence, but in this case your brain, to after you get out of that noise, just let everything to sink in, connect, start see the patterns, and then at that moment, and typically I do it by going to hike in the
Mm.
national parks around Las Vegas. That is when the patterns start like connecting and everything start making sense. So the way I navigate that show is just I walk through the different venues very intentionally,
Mhm.
capturing signals, the headlines, the products, what that means, not the product itself, but what is the context, what is the problem that is trying to solve. And you see there's a lot of commonality in terms of the problem those products are trying to solve. So look beyond the gadget, and is forget about the technology in the gadget, is what is the problem it's trying to solve. So this is a lot of data points, and then at the end try to understand communalities, common problems, and overall what is going on. So this year at CES, I have been looking like past years, it was AI. This is AI. And AI was kind of in the forefront of every conversation. Right now is in the back, because there's nothing new with AI, driving any capabilities, but it became embedded in our lives and everything that we do. And that is a massive shift, because now we live with AI. We don't use AI. AI live with us everywhere where we are, health, automotive, every industry. You see AI now disrupting the operation rooms in the medical field. You see AI marketing well everywhere. So it's embedded in our life, and that really is a big shift compared to how was the conversation in previous years?
Yeah, it makes sense, especially we're trying. Yeah, we already seen the chatbot. We already know about the AI agents, but what can they do for consumers now? What is the investment, return on investment, and will it pay off in this year's products? Usually, the majority of them fail, and we never heard from them again. But is there one, I guess, use case or technology that solved the problem that helped people or solved a problem for consumers?
So that's the interesting part. Every technology that is worth it today solve a problem.
Mm.
And those that, like in the past, we saw a lot in previous years. Some of them don't even exist anymore. That used AI as a shiny object to call users, this is AI. Those are no longer in the market. Actually, consumers are rejecting AI when it has a shallow role within the tool or the platform where they exist. We see a lot of proliferation of AI agents, AI content. Well, I'm not against that when it's used with a purpose, when it's really used in a very utilitarian way. The problem with that is when doesn't have a real role and is there just to as a shiny object. That's the problem. So it's a line that we have to be very careful right now how to cross it. If we solve a problem, yes. If it doesn't solve a problem, then there's no need to use it. But the thing is that everything, I mean, if you use it, if manufacturers use it in a smart way, it will always accelerate a problem solution.
I could think of one use case that felt very badly. It's Sergey Brin's Google Glasses. Like he took it out of beta into production, and people started using it, and then invasion of privacy. Like they didn't think through how it affect others and people. So it's just one example of a product that is good on paper but fails in reality to protect other consumers from that product. So it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And then on the positive side, you see things like one of the things, it's not even my area, but is as a human we all need to know about these kind of advancements of technology. There's a pillow that get the signals what you'll sleep, and then you have a dashboard and it tells you all these vitals, like it can diagnose a lot of issues even before they appear.
Mm.
There's a, I mean, it's cool. Yes, it's cool, but it goes way beyond that. It really, really can make a difference in your future health. So that's a way where um, AI takes and solve a problem. It solve a problems for insurance, the insurance industry, the health of individuals, and which is an area that AI is really making a huge difference. So every industry that you see, automotive, for example, there's a purpose for AI, and you don't even have to name AI anymore. It
Mm.
just is.
It's there.
Yes.
We have a couple of minutes, but I guess my curiosity is, how did you get into philosophy? I noticed that you quoted famous philosopher. How did you engage with it within your native language, or were you read in English first? And how does that in direct your life currently?
I wanted to study philosophy in college, and everybody told me that it was worthless. I will starve to death. And so everybody, like my family, my dad told me, you can just learn philosophy on your free time. You don't need to go to school to study philosophy. Not necessarily I agree or disagree, but I just, fine. Went to marketing. But one thing that I love about philosophy is that it helps you to organize your thinking. It helps you to think about your thinking. And like I say, I believe in neuroplasticity. So that exercise of trying to understand the context and the world and give meaning to every thought, I think that is fascinating. So I didn't go to school for philosophy, and I didn't work, on anything related to philosophy. But then the internet and social media gives us such an amazing opportunity to do whatever we want,
Mm,
that I say, I'm going to start a creative project. And, by the time that I started it, I didn't have this ambition of I'm going to grow this platform into, you know, hundreds of thousands of people. I just started creating, putting thoughts in video.
mm,
And that was a year ago. And right now, I think I'm like 4,000 followers to get to 100,000 followers.
mm,
And it was surprising for me because I thought not a lot of people like philosophy. So I'm going to do my creative project. It's a creative expression for me, it's a hobby. And then I realized there's so many people. And if you see the comments, it's like, thank you for sharing this. This is amazing. I love it. And it just exploded. And then the lesson for me was there's so much for thinking, for really like content that make you think. And it really helped them stand or move away even a little bit of all the garbage in social media. There's great content, but there's also a lot of garbage. And it has been an incredibly fulfilling experience for me.
yeah, that's great. And same for me. Stoic philosophy, clear thinking, and then you go to the moral realm to justify or just to talk about things that are good or evil. So I'm glad that you were able to discover that and be able to apply it in your current work. Before we wrap up, Yvonne, is there any exciting news this week? For any new releases for you, or before? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I gave you my new release, but also this is the brand campaign, which is going to be pretty different.
Mhm.
And but also what I can tell you is that even industries that are perceived as traditional as the low industry in marketing, we are um, approaching several of the issues using technology and using AI. So the difference here with maybe brand marketing is that the if we can solve any of those problems, we will unlock huge potential for revenue increase immediately in
Mhm.
performance marketing. That's the difference. So we're looking at least that I have in my mind two big issues that we have and seeing how we're going to solve them. And there's always an AI alternative. But the problem is first, and then we look into how we can leverage AI as a tool to help us solve this problem.
You remind me of a meme or a video Ben Affleck talking about AI. You know, if you use AI, you get the mean average of what a writer will produce. But if you use it as a thinking tool or as an augmentation of your thinking, I think you could go to the stars with it. But thank you, Yvonne. Where can people find you? And do you have any social medias that they can reach out to?
Yes. So my Instagram in English is at Ivonne Kinser, like it's written
Mhm.
in the screen. Then I have the Spanish philosophy. If you speak Spanish, that's pensamientocrítico.ig, which means critical thinking, but it's
Mhm.
.ig for Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn, Yvonne Kinser on LinkedIn. I'm the only one. um, I think that's pretty much. Right.
Awesome. Thank you, Yvonne. We look forward to the campaign this summer. We'll monitor that and we'll release it once it's live. And thank you for appearing at the Orlando Insights podcast. We would love to have you come back again for uh, new releases and new that you can offer to the community. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you for the business and data community for appearing today. If you want more information and more speakers like Yvonne, please visit our socials at Spotify and YouTube at Orlando Insight Group. And we'll look forward to the next one. Have a good one. Take care.